Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Drop me a comment, and make sure you click that bell icon, all notifications, so that you do get notifications to know when I go live each and every single weekday, and sometimes on a Sunday, on a weekly close when I feel like it. So, didn't go live on Friday. Decided to go live on Sunday. I did tell you guys on Thursday I felt more than likely I was going to live stream on Friday, which I didn't. And I said if I did not, then I would live stream on Sunday, and I'm a man of my word. What can I say? So here I am. This is not an alcoholic beverage, by the way. This is just, this is actually Diet Ocean Spray Cran pomegranate juice mixed with a Sprite Zero. So it's actually pretty good. Shout out to the Birds, Philadelphia Eagles. First team in NFL history to have consecutive seasons where they went 4-0 and then started the next season 5-0. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles beating up on the Los Angeles Rams today, 23-14. Go Birds. Tweeted out something very interesting today that if I don't get a comment, I might actually call into 94 WIP. Has there ever been a city that has had the following happen? Both baseball and football teams make it to the championship game or series in the same year and lose, but both make it back the following year and win. The Phillies, I don't know if you guys are aware, they won their first divisional game against the Atlanta Braves. They're up 1-0. In my opinion, all they had to do was win one of two in Atlanta. They come back home for those 3 games. And I fucking think the Phillies are headed back to the NLCS and potentially back into the World Series, which I'm very excited about. And the Eagles are off to a 5-0 start. It is a good time to be a Philadelphia sports fan. Welcome into everyone new tuning in. We're going to check out these markets as we close the week out. Some important developments on the Bitcoin chart in particular that I want to talk about. I also want to take a step back and look at last week. There's some very important developments on the dollar index that everyone's been so frightened about. So we're going to take a look at that. We're also going to take a look at these major indices that have people freaked out, thinking that we're just going to plummet in value and we're not going to be going higher. We'll take a look at that. Hope everyone had a nice weekend. I had a much needed just relaxation. Friday, I didn't do anything. Saturday, I had a day to myself. I went to the beach. It was beautiful. I drank some tequila. I was missing the beautiful women, but just had the tequila. Some nice lime in there, just enjoying. Had a lot of sun, just relaxing, just really enjoying. It was a nice time. And then today, actually, I was working. I put in some work today, but very accomplished day today. So I'm feeling energized, ready to go. Got a lot of sleep last night. I did something unheard of this morning. I did not set my alarm. I just woke up whenever my body wanted to wake me up. Crazy idea. Maybe should try that once in a while more often. Oof, welcome in, DJ. As always, good to see you. I don't know about oil prices. I try not to clutter my thought too much with a bazillion different things and just stick to the charts I talk about. So, I don't know. Not really concerned about that, though. I'm more concerned about the charts I focus on. Yeah, steady. To Harper, what I texted my brother and a mutual friend of ours, what I had texted the bat before his home run, before he walked, I said, Harper is due. And then lo and behold, he comes up his next at bat and hits a home run. So it's good practice to set an alarm, DJ. A little discipline. You got to get up by a certain time. But I've also read that it's actually good if your schedule allows for it to naturally wake up when your body wants you to wake up. So, if you can do that, cheers to you. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Of course, I just put this in here, kind of talked about, this is on the daily, kind of talked about this, that we'd want this general price movement in terms of meeting those expectations that I have coming in to the fourth quarter. I've signaled to you guys, hey, I'm expecting Bitcoin in the fourth quarter to get up to that $35.5 to $48,000 area, right in that area. That's where I'm expecting to be. by the end of the year. So we'll have to see how that pans out. But if that scenario does play out, we do need to see some sort of rise in price similar to this nature here that I have drawn out. So we'll see. We'll see if something similar comes about. But right now, price indicators look fine. Really, the main thing here, there's really not too much else to speak to that's more critically important on the daily than getting a candle body close above the 200 simple moving average. Again, on this channel, if you're newer to the channel, there are 5,000 things we could talk about, but really what I try to zone in on are the key things to keep in mind, right? DJ's pointing out some really thought-provoking things here. I'm not saying they're not good discussion points, but again, I try to weed out things that just introduce too many variables into the equation, and I try to keep things stupid simple. So on the daily, let's keep it stupid simple. You want a candle body close above the 200 SMA. If we move this out of the way, you can see the 200 SMA sitting at 28,000. So until we start pushing above 28,000, guys, nothing has changed. Right? We've talked about this ad nauseum. This is the chart that I'm going to be very interested to see how it closes. This is the weekly. We're going to take a look at the Williams Alligator. This is going to be really interesting. We're going to take a look at the ADX and DI as these things print live in the 17 minutes. That's what I'm very interested in. And of course, the Gaussian channel. It's just difficult for us to get out of this Gaussian channel once we re-enter the green. We want to explode out of here and get above 28.5. So we'll have to see how that turns out as well. And nice to see on the Heikinashi, if you guys checked out my latest Bitcoin video, nice to see on the Heikinashi candlesticks on the monthly that we're printing a green candlestick. Again, there are no certainties, but if you covered, if you watched that video in its entirety, what this tells us is that statistics and probabilities are on our side, that momentum is going to continue to pick up in Bitcoin, and we'll see a sustained move up. So we'll have to keep an eye. And for all the people who are fudding Caspa, I tweeted out earlier today, this price action right now in this area, in this like 5-cent area, it reminds me, it's very reminiscent of this price action down here around half a cent. So take that, take from that what you will, but what that is telling me, and alongside of the expectations I have in the fourth quarter, I am expecting a significant move up in Caspa. So everybody in that community, just continue to remain patient. Now, let's talk about the DXY, okay? Believe it or not, on Friday, I did not look at any of the weekly closes on the traditional stock indices or the DXY. I didn't know how it printed until right before this live stream. That's the first time I looked at it. So good to get away from the charts sometimes. Does anyone know what this candlestick is? Now, if you've been on this live stream for quite some time, you know that we've covered this particular candlestick several times in the past. And while we're not big on this channel on naming every single candlestick and knowing what most of them mean, there are some significant ones that are nice to know. But the most important thing that I stress on this channel is you can look at the chart, and from those candlesticks, it's telling you a story. That's the most important thing. Does anyone know what this candlestick is? There's a lag in comments. What's up, Juan? Good to see you here, brother. This is what is known as a gravestone doji. Now, just by the name alone, gravestone, that should signal to you that this is a bearish candlestick. But again, you don't need to know that the name is a tombstone. The Undertaker. You don't need to know that the name of this is a gravestone doji. What you do need to recognize is what's the story in this candlestick here. And let's take the blue circle off, okay? There is a thin red body and a huge wick here. There is buyer exhaustion. And contrary to some ignorant belief out there from people who don't understand charts, you can chart the DXY just like you chart a crypto or a stock ticker. If you're listening to anyone that says, well, you can't really decipher the same things from charting the DXY, the dollar index, as you can from charting Bitcoin, they have let me just tell you this, they have absolutely no fucking clue what they're talking about. This is the chart. This chart is a chart like any other chart that you can chart. So do not allow anyone else to fool you. This is a major sign of a trend reversal to the downside. It doesn't need to pan out, as I always say. There's nothing definitive in anything in life, including charting, besides living and dying. Those are the only guarantees you have. Even when you're told at times there's a 3% or 5% probability of something, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes that 3 or 5% probability plays out. I'm sure we can all speak to that in life. But in this case, the probabilities are in our favor, that because we've printed a gravestone doji this past week, oh sure, we could continue to see some sort of a bounce here, but we're not going to go above here. This is what it's telling us. We could continue to see some sort of a bounce, but we're just going to continue to roll over. It is a clear sign of a trend reversal to the downside. Now, if the dollar index, and I apologize, my allergies are acting up. I don't know what's going on. If the dollar index is telling us that it is most probable that we're going to see a trend reversal to the downside, what does that mean for equities and Bitcoin and crypto? We're going to go up, the inverse. Now, if this pans out as I'm anticipating it to, this is exactly what I've been talking to you about for weeks and exactly why I've been trying to keep you in this game. I had some recent even conversations with my family about being nervous about the stock market and what's going on with the stock market. What did we look at on Thursday? These major indices have run up 30% plus since they bottomed in October and have had like an 8% pullback. Why is anyone shitting their pants? Stay patient. Stay calm. When you allow your emotions to play into your investment decisions, I promise you one thing, you will make mistakes, right? No one's going to play this market perfect. I will not be able to play this market perfect, okay? I never have and never will. No one can. And don't allow anyone to fool you otherwise. But what we can do is we can keep things stupid simple. We can focus on a few key charts. And from those few key charts, we can decipher what is most and least likely, right? So in this case, what I'm communicating to you on the dollar index chart is that it is telling us more than likely we're going to roll over. And that's going to provide some fuel for equity markets, and crypto. And you know that I believe that Bitcoin and crypto is going to outpace traditional stock market indices in the fourth quarter of this year. I also believe, and I have not wavered in this one bit, that your major stock indices, your S&P, your Dow Jones Industrial Average, your NASDAQ, they're all going to make new all-time highs between the fourth quarter, which I lean towards, between the fourth quarter of this year and the first quarter of next year. I haven't wavered in that at all. Nothing has changed. Now, I've spoken to these two primary areas. I've spoken to roughly the 4,100 area, which lines up with the EMA, 21 EMA on the monthly, excuse me. This is the monthly, not the weekly. I apologize. This is the S&P on the monthly. We're not below there. I told you if we start to get a candle body close below this level here, that's when I would become mildly concerned. And then if we got a candle body close below this area at 3,800, that's when I would become pretty damn concerned if we got all the way down here. But let's take a look at how the week closed out. You can see we have a nice, almost like a hammer candlestick, potential trend reversal to the upside candlestick being printed. Why do I say that? Well, first off, volume precedes price. We got a lot of volume coming in here. Okay, if we move this out of the way, you can see this big green bar here, a lot of volume. Look at the shape of the candlestick. Again, we don't need to know the name of it, but look at the shape of the candlestick that printed on the weekly S&P. Again, this is why I said, if you're choosing to sell equities at the point we're at right now, I personally think it's foolish. I think it's absolutely foolish. This is called seller exhaustion. We came all the way down here and could not support prices at these levels. Buyers stepped in, got it all the way up to where we opened. Okay, this is where we opened the week at, 42.84, and punched it above there all the way to 4,300. I believe in the next handful of coming weeks, we're definitely going to get some sort of bounce. Now, what we're going to have to watch for, okay, just get that back there, okay. What we're going to have to watch for is, are we going to get that lower high come in? You know, this is something I'm going to be watching for. Let's stick with the weekly for a moment. Follow the blue line here. You see how the lower highs are coming in? Let me get a nice thick blue line here, okay? See how we got the lower highs, right? So the real test to me is, okay, the real question for me is, are we not going to get a bounce? I'm not questioning whether or not we're going to get a bounce. I'm sure we're going to, I feel pretty positive we're going to get a bounce this week, next week, next couple weeks. But the real question for me is, as we start to come up to here, this area, can we break through the descending resistance? Now, once we break through the descending resistance, now it is all about taking out each successive, now it's about taking out each prior lower high. So you can see we have a lower high here with this candlestick at 4,500. We have a lower high here at 4,540. And then we have a lower high here at 4,600 and up here to a little over 4,600. So we want to clear the descending resistance, take out the 4,500 area, invalidate these lower highs, and then attack 4,600. Once you see, I want you to remember me saying this. When you see the S&P back above 4,600, when it's back above 4,600, it gets above this area and takes out this area here that we hit back in, what was this, July? Yeah, July. We are headed towards all-time highs, guys. We're so close to 4,800. So, again, I'll be very patiently awaiting to see how we interact with some of this resistance. Those are my expectations, though. Nothing has changed. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. This is on the weekly. This is a hell of a bullish candlestick, and this is why I was saying to you guys, yeah, I'm never going to be able to guarantee you anything on this channel. It's why I've been emphatic, though, that it was, in my opinion, irresponsible to be selling at these levels. I think those were well, I'll just leave it at that. I think it would have been very emotional and irresponsible to be selling at these levels. We're getting a very strong candlestick here. This is a huge, thick green body with this medium-sized wick here. Again, seller exhaustion. Buyers came in. Nice bullish momentum. Now, we want to see some follow-through. And again, same premise applies. You can see the descending resistance. We want to break above descending resistance, break this lower high, and then break ultimately here. Now, the NASDAQ, the key level to watch for on the NASDAQ, when you see the NASDAQ start to punch up towards 1,600, okay, that implies we're taking out this lower high here, okay, the lower high relative to up here, okay? When you start to see the NASDAQ punch above 1,600, in my opinion, shortly thereafter, we will be setting new all-time highs in the NASDAQ. So let's watch out for that. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones, which has tons of price data. Guys, and don't confuse my talk for somebody who's just a permabull, as they say. I'm not a permabull. I just shared some thoughts with my father today that coincide with thoughts I've shared with you guys. And that is, I see a melt up before a melt down. How many times have I come out on this live stream consistently and said melt up before melt down? Now, I've been reading a lot of different thought processes on where we may experience a true meltdown. It could be as early as next year. It could be 2025. It might not all the way out till 2026, 28, right? But the bottom line is, in the shorter to intermediate term, I am expecting significant moves to the upside in the next 6 months relative to what you're hearing in the popular news channels. And once things start to become really euphoric and Bitcoin is breaking its all-time high, that is when I'm going to become extremely cautious, and I will be coming out here and talking about that. So you will see CBG is not a permabull. He just has this thesis that I've been talking about since, over a year ago. Guys, it's been more than a year ago. We've had this expanded flat correction. We're waiting for this fifth blow off top, fifth impulsive wave up in that Elliott wave structure. It hasn't happened yet, and I'm waiting for that. Okay, and until that's invalidated, which it hasn't been, then my thesis hasn't changed. Doesn't mean we didn't have a bloody harsh correction. We had a horrible correction. It was a really rough correction that we experienced in 2022. But it hasn't changed my outlook in terms of my expectations. It's just changed the timing of that, as I have indicated to you guys. So Dow Jones, right now, Not as bullish a week as I would have liked to have seen. I would have liked to have seen a green body here. Still, we have a lot of seller exhaustion here with this huge, nice long wick, which is great to see. We're sitting around major support here. You could see there's a region. If I point out a major region of support here, you can see where we closed. Yeah, actually there is. Wouldn't be surprised if we bottomed, because you can see a lot of areas of price confluence. Okay, broke below it, couldn't get above it. Once we got above it, stayed above it, and continued moving. So that $32,800 level does seem like a nice area of price confluence. Thumbs up for everyone new tuning in. We're going to get to Bitcoin in a moment on the weekly close in 2 minutes here and kind of assess a few different charts that I hit on at the beginning of the channel. There are a few juicy items that I'm looking for in the charts that we're going to hit on. Again, the Dow Jones, same sort of analysis given to the other indices. We've had a small correction relative to the monumental rise in price when we bottomed back here, okay? So first things first, we have to clear out above descending resistance and then start to clear these lower highs, right? Each prior lower high, and then we can start to feel truly convicted that we're going to see a monumental rise to the upside. Now, what's the key level that I'm watching for in the Dow Jones when you guys should start to get super excited? You want to see the Dow Jones start to push up towards, I mean, really 35,700, but I'm actually going to use this area of price confluence right here. The area on the Dow Jones that you want to look for, 35,800. When you start to see the Dow Jones up at 35,800, which I think will occur by this year, that is when you should start to feel very, very cautiously optimistic or positive or bullish that we're going to break all-time highs pretty shortly thereafter. So that is the price level to watch for there. And boy, the timing that I teed everything up with is perfect, because we are about to get the weekly close on Bitcoin. So let's check that out. Let's see who's in the live stream here. Sorry, Oof, I just closed out of that chart. Sorry, I didn't see your comment. Jorge, in a few words, yeah, let me hit you up, brother. We could experience some of the tensions that are going on now, which, if anyone is impacted by that, horrific to see that's going on. And I send my thoughts and prayers to you, your family, anyone who's impacted. Horrific stuff going on. Can't imagine what that's like. Thoughts on that? Trying to remove the human element of it and just talking about the markets. There could be some volatility this week, but ultimately, I am still uber bullish for the fourth quarter going into the first quarter of next year. Yes, we could see some volatility to the downside. It could be something where we have a down day on Monday. It could be something where it's a nothing burger for the markets, and you see the market open down, and then it ends up closing the day strong. I just wouldn't, again, Jorge, I simplify things. Unless if there's a black swan event, which at this point we're not in World War III. I don't see World War III breaking out tomorrow. Unless if there's a black swan event, the charts are what they are. And I simplify my life, and I'm trying to simplify your lives by just telling you what the data is telling me. That's it. And we can use 50 years, 100 years of price data to tell us what's going on. So those are my thoughts there. BTC is going up because of the charts, Juan. Guys, for everyone new tuning in who's not familiar with this channel and the way I operate, you do realize this live stream is called All in the Charts, right? Why is it called All in the Charts? Because my line of thinking over the years has evolved to tune out the news. I don't listen to that stuff. There are elements of the news I listen to because I want to stay current on the world, but it doesn't impact my investing decisions. Tune out the news. Look at the charts, right? Look at the charts. The charts, God, I don't know how else to explain this. I'm an actuary, so I do numbers all day. It's a beautiful thing. It makes so much sense to me why technical analysis, why I love technical analysis so much. Because I'm a data guy. All my life, I've been a mathematician. All my life, my first love, all of my life has been math. I love math. I love that it's factual. I love that it's yes or no. 2 plus 2 is 4, right? Did see some woke bullshit out there that says 2 plus 2 may not be 4, but let's not go down that rabbit hole. Yeah, I pray for the world. I pray for the world. Part of me is glad I don't have children. I'd be scared. I'd be a little scared to raise children in the world we're in right now. But anyway, the point is, it makes sense to me why I love technical analysis so much, because so much of who I am, how I operate my day to day, it's all analytical. It's all math. It's all numbers. Guys, this, at the end of the day, this is all numbers and math. That's all this is. It's all analytics, right? Aside from black swan events, this is going to tell you everything you need to know. I know that's so hard to wrap your mind around, but it's the truth. All the news events, everybody's emotional buy and sell activities in the markets, all the robotic trading that goes on, all of the whales, all of the institutional investors, all this shit is baked into these charts, guys. So you can clutter your life and pay attention to 5,000 things, or you can just do a handful of things here and simplify your life. That's what I've chosen, and that's what has worked well for me. So that's what I instill on this channel. Now let's take a look at the weekly. Let's take a look at the weekly charts here. Great to see on the weekly stochastic RSI. We still got that thing curling up. You see this right here? Okay. So that's +1 for the good guys on the stochastic RSI. Stochastic RSI is looking pretty sexy at the moment. Let's get into the RSI. RSI, this is not a good one for the good guys. Okay, this is not one for the good guys. This is neutral, still bearish. Now, why do I say that? Because we have this descending RSI that we can't punch above. I need this RSI to show me something. I want it to get up to 55, 56, 57, 58, 60. Okay? So this is neutral bearish only because it's neutral bearish because we're right at that descending line. Okay? So we need this RSI. We need strength to come in. We need to push up and break the descending resistance. So that's one more for neutral bearish. Let's take a look at the MACD. This is still bearish, but it's starting to get towards neutral / bullish. And why do I say that? You can see, despite the fact that we have a negative cross on the MACD, that's not the entire picture. You need to understand how to interpret this price indicator. The way we interpret it is the histogram. Look at the descending bodies on the histogram here turning light red. Take a look at the MACD. Yeah, we're negative. That's not good. We flattened out. We're beginning to curl up. A couple more weeks of bullish momentum, this thing's going to turn positive. And it's setting us up for a potentially explosive end of the year. To the upside, by the way. Not to the 10,000 clown boys for Bitcoin that have been here literally since last year. They refuse to give up on this $10,000 Bitcoin. You know, there were calls last year, and I heard some calls recently in the past couple weeks, still for 5,000, 3,000 Bitcoin. Guys, if you're waiting for 5,000 to 3,000 Bitcoin, I'm sorry. I really am sorry. But you weren't here with CBG here, okay? CBG was here, okay? This is CBG. See? This is me. This is CBG, okay? CBG bought that dip. CBG bought this shit. If you weren't here, you weren't with CBG. You're not getting your 5,000, 3,000 Bitcoin, okay? Bye-bye. See ya. Goodbye. It's not coming, all right? That's what I got for 5,000. Bunch of clowns looking for attention on social media. Fearmongers is what they call them. We're still below the 200 simple moving average. But what did I say to you guys? I said the most bullish thing that could have happened this week is we closed above the 200 simple moving average. It didn't happen. But I said, while I wasn't necessarily anticipating that, what I wanted to see, remember, if you've been following me all week, we had a medium to thick red candle body here. And I said, I just want that thing to thin out. Beautiful. We got this thing to thin out. This is an indecision candle. This is what they call an indecision candle. We don't know if we want to go up. We don't know if we want to go down. In terms of bearish, a bearish view on this that might lead to more downside, we're below the 200 SMA, right? That might push us down. But on the bullish case, we have this huge bullish engulfing candle here with this huge green body pressed right up against the 200 SMA, right? This is a beauty. So I am going to side on the end of the bulls here. Then in the coming weeks, we're going to push up. I think all the price indicators are sort of telling us this, that the momentum is starting to pick up. So we'll have to see how we close. But good, pretty solid weekly close here. Now let's take a look at the Williams Alligator first off. The Williams Alligator is making the case right now that while what was happening here, most probabilistic, would have led to some more moderate to potentially significant downside in price, looks like it could have been a fake out. Okay, this is very good news. Now, why do I say that? We're beginning to see the green get back above the red. Remember, we want green, red, blue. Green, red, blue. Okay? Green is starting to curl up here such that we would have green, red, blue. Okay, and all the moving averages are moving up. They're all moving up. And the current price line indicator, this is critical. The price line indicator is above all moving averages, which is what we want. All the murkiness in this chart that had me nervous is beginning to clear up. This is very, very good news, okay? This could have been one big fake out, okay? The lesser of the probable events could be working out, this is just murkiness and a big fake out. Now, let's take a look at the ADX and DI. You can see the DI indicators, which are the green and red. They're both where they need to be in terms of the green being below 20. That's this horizontal dotted line. And the green is above 20, which is what we want. That's perfect. Look at the DI, though. Look at the DI. You see how it's still slanted down? Apologize. Look at the ADX. The ADX is the orange line. See how it's still slanted down? We need this thing to curl up, get above our 20 trigger line, okay? Because when that has happened in the past, okay, we've seen, now here it wasn't too much of a rise in price, but you can see here, significant rise in price, here, significant rise in price. All this stuff was a significant rise in price. So we need this ADX indicator, the orange line, to start to curl back above 20, okay? That's the biggest one of the Williams Alligator, the ADX, and DI. Of those three, the ADX is the one that really needs to turn around, this orange line, and start to get above zero. Gaussian, nothing has changed. Guys, that's all I got. I just wanted to cover out the weekly close. Let's open it up real quick to some questions. But I'm going to be back tomorrow, right? I'll be back in less than 24 hours. I'll be back around like 5:30 tomorrow. So let's see what questions we got. Again, Evan, all I'll tell you is that, again, I'm just talking about the investing element. It's not me being insensitive to the fact that there is a lot of serious stuff going on. My heart genuinely goes out to people who are impacted, okay? I'm just talking about the charts, okay? But if we're just talking about the charts outside of a black swan event, a black swan event would be, you know, we're going into World War III. All of a sudden, and typically world wars, the way they're triggered, it's one small thing and it snowballs, right? Do I think we're going into World War? No. Some people will say maybe we are. Some people will say maybe we're not. Nobody knows. But outside of World War III, that would be a black swan event. There's nothing in the charts that has me overly concerned, and that is what I focus on, okay? That is what has led me to my successes in life today, and I believe it is what will continue to lead me to my successes in life moving forward. And I would implore you to consider adopting a similar mindset. Yeah, well, I don't know what you meant with XRP, but we're down. Hey, at least XRP now is the stable coin in the upper 40s to low 50s. You know, for a while there, XRP was that stable coin at 30 cents. By the way, for all my Flare community fans out there, dumpster fire. This thing, like I said, is going under a cent. It's just going to continue bleeding. The chart looks horrendous, okay? Maybe I should have sold what Flare tokens I had and just put them in something else, because at this rate, you can continue accumulating all the Flare tokens you want, but if the USD price just continues plummeting, it's worth absolutely nothing. So Very disheartening to see. I think depending what sort of bounce we get when there's euphoria in the market, this thing gets up to 10 cents or even 20 cents. CBG might be a strong seller at those levels. Just get what I can for the token because it looks like a pile of steaming crap. Steady already talked about the XY. You'll have to rewind and go back. You're bullish long-term but bearish short-term. Okay, DJ. I'm, well, you already know how I feel. Again, I just choose not to look at the halving cycles in silo environments. I've preached on that forever. I'm not going to, continue to state the same things over and over again. All right, guys, that's all I got. Just wanted to cover the weekly closes with you. There are very encouraging things we're seeing in the charts. I'm going to be back here, like I said, less than 24 hours from today. So we'll see how Monday's price action develops. I know there's a lot of fear out there from a chart perspective about what some of the world events could spill over into the charts. But we'll assess price action tomorrow. I'm not overly concerned about anything. But yeah, we'll check out price action tomorrow. Make sure you click that bell icon for all notifications. I should be going live tomorrow around the normal time that I do live stream, around like 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. So make sure that you tune in then. Guys, I hope everybody has a nice evening, a nice morning, a nice afternoon, and enjoy the start of your week. As my late best friend used to say to me, before, implying that he passed away, my late best friend used to say to me in the gym on a Monday morning when I used to go in ass early at like 4:30 in the morning, he used to greet me with a smile, give me a fist pump, and go, "Hey, CVG, it's Monday morning, best day of the week." And I hated that motherfucker for saying that because it was Monday morning at 4:30 in the gym, and I did not want to hear that. So, but he knew how to put a smile on my face. Monday's the best day of the week, guys. Go out there and start your week strong, and I'll be back here tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Until next time, spread awareness, and let's all carry the education forward. Take care.